Hello everyone, it's Justine. Today I'm showing some more cards using the Spellbinders card kit of the month for August 2022, and this one is called a Butterfly Sparkles. Now this first card and the sister card, by the way, I call the sister cards ones that look similar but then aren't exactly the same, so like sisters. But these two first cards are going to be using a whole bunch of scrap. So you'll maybe recognize the paper that I'm using that I used to die cut out all these circles. My apologies, I did not die cut them out. I used a little paper punch. So I have a small and a medium paper punch, and I just took all of my scraps, well not all of them, but most of them, to make these really playful little circles. Then I took the blue paper that came in the card kit and put it on a card, glued these circles down. Now I'm going to take my scissors and trim off the edges. And I'm going to be mindful about the edges because I might even add some of these back on the card depending on what's on them and some open areas that I need filling in, like that. I think this is my new favorite way to use up paper scraps, is just to circle punch a whole bunch of them out and stick them on the card. I haven't made a circle card like this before, but I definitely love my circle punches. In the July card kit with the mermaid underwater stuff, I used a lot of the paper up by using a larger circle punch and putting it on the inside of the card. But this is a fun way to use up the paper as well. Then I took that pink polka dot paper and mounted it on some of the gold mirrored cardstock. Both of those things came in the kit, and now I'm going to add a glittered word sentiment onto my little pink polka dot paper here. I chose the word enjoy for this one, and for my sister card, I think it says love. We'll have to see in a second here. Yes, love. Then to fill in all of the areas, I'm going to add some of those blue sequins to really make it playful. So you can see on the left, I added the sequins to that love card. Now I'm going to add it to the enjoy card. So this is my second video showing the cards that I made from August card of the month, but first, if you haven't watched the first one, I would recommend watching that just so you're kind of aware of what I've made so far. And if you've watched that one, you know that I have challenged myself to make as many cards as I can and use up all of my card kit, or at least as much as possible. And with that, I kind of had to stretch my creativity a little bit, and which was kind of fun for me. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I made myself this little challenge, and I loved all of the cards except this one. I really didn't like this one, but who knows, maybe it's someone else's cup of tea. Ideally, this should go, I mean, it all goes together. I don't know if it really speaks to me, the you and me. I don't know. I just couldn't figure out where to put the me. I think that was the problem with this one. And I think the large area on the right, I wasn't really feeling, but everything was glued down, so I just went with it. In the end, it is a nice card. It's not ugly, but it's just not my cup of tea. Oh well, I'll just move on, and I'm sure I'll use that card for something. Now with this card, I wanted to play with the stamp set a little bit. So I grabbed the kind of dandelions that are blowing away and a nice little sentiment, and I just pulled in my Misty just to make sure that it was nice and straight. So I'm just using a little de-staticer tool And I'm using the embossing watermark ink from Spellbinders. I forgot that I had this little stamp impressioning tool that my sweet husband made for me, so I had to try it out today. I pressed a bit hard, so when I heat embossed it, it kind of turned out a little clumpy. So I ended up trying it once again using a little less pressure. This time it turned out a little bit better, but I still need to work on fine, detailed embossing. But just something I'm working on, I guess. I love black and gold together. I think it's a really fun combination, and it's one that I tend to lean towards quite often. But this layout could be used in really any color combination. I thought that black and gold would look nice, and I think silver and pink would also look very nice. I chose my best of the three to put onto my card. The other two, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with yet. They might just end up going back into my scrap area for black, or I might decide to use them for cards anyway. I still don't know. We'll see. I'm not counting them as part of my numbers for this month's card kit since they're not technically on a card base. Now for this one, I loved the gold foiling on the pink patterned paper. So that's the one I have in my hand right now. I thought it was really neat, and it showed kind of like rays going out. Now I'm going to put this polka dot one over the top of the other two here, but I just wanted to make sure that I would leave enough room so there wouldn't be black showing in between the pink and the polka dots, and there would be enough space for the black and white paper to go. Then with just a little trim or two, we are all good to go for our stickers. By trim or two, I mean like 20 cuts. Okay. I have to be careful with this tool-in-one. It's rather sharp on the end, and I did end up poking myself, but no blood was drawn, so could be worse, I guess. These are very, very, very sticky, and I do not have to put any liquid glue underneath them, and I know that they are not going to be falling off of my card at all. And I'm pretty sure that if I had to like rip them off or something, they would probably tear the paper. They're that sticky. As opposed to the chipboard sentiments and stickers are usually not as sticky, so no liquid glue needed for those glittered sentiments. Now for this one, I'm just layering up 2 scraps there on the edge. And this is going to be kind of the resting area for my die cut sentiment. And this black frame and the black frame inlay that's going to go in there in a second is part of the die cut pack. And it looks like I got it on just a bit crooked, and there really wasn't anything I could do once it was glued down. That was stuck, so it is what it is, I guess. Now I'm putting on these foam squares. I used quite a bit on this one because I wanted it to be nice and supported on my card. I really like how this one ends up turning out because I was able to use some ephemera piece or the die cut pieces, the dies, the pattern paper, and just really kind of add a couple different things together. And it's fun making the landscape cards because I don't typically make too many of those. I usually make portrait, which go the other way, but sometimes you gotta switch it up. Now for this card, I'm using VersaFine black ink, and it has a little bit of a stick to it. So anytime I use this one, I typically use embossing powder with it. Now, I thought I was going to stamp off of it, and I ended up not, so do not mind the little blue scrap that was just in the camera. So with this, I'm using the clear embossing since it is black ink already. And this basically just gives it a shine. So it doesn't take away from the blackness of the ink at all. Then after that, I'm going to use this scrap paper and put some sticky on my card and use my grid on my mat here to line up some pattern paper on the bottom. Then I'm going to trim it off, and for whatever reason things were not perfectly straight. We're all surprised, and I needed to cover up my mistake, which was perfect because I had a piece of die cut ready to go for me there. So that's what I ended up putting on that area so it would hide that things weren't perfectly straight. Then I just cut down my card panel to be 4 by 5 3/4, no, 5 1/4, just so it left a 1/4 of an inch around the edge so that black border was showing. I like the simplicity of this card because it kind of is a bit elegant and it doesn't have the cutesy fruitsy, and it's not sparkly and blingy, which I love, but I liked that this was a little bit more of a simple card. Plus, this could be reproduced with quite a few different pattern papers. Really could have been any one on the bottom there and it would have looked fine. I will just say that the Spellbinders card kits do such a good job coordinating different designs and colors together to really help you make creative cards without doing the work for you. So card kits are a really nice way to kind of get your creative juices flowing and try something different. So I definitely recommend trying out a card kit if you haven't before. And if you have, you might have fallen in love with them and understand why I'm so excited about the card kits. If you're interested in this card kit, I will have a link in the description. And if you're really wanting this one, I would recommend buying it before the end of the month. Now, Spellbinders has a window of opportunity to buy their club memberships. So that is anywhere from the 1st of the month until 6 days before the end of the month. So 6 days before the end of the month, they have a blackout window. So that means you cannot buy the monthly card kit. So anytime between the 1st of the month and 6 days before the end of the month, you will be able to buy the card kit and other club items. And the shipping is always different every month, so it's not going to come to you on the 1st. There isn't a set date for that. So it comes when it comes. So Spellbinders has a really good Q&A section for their clubs and club items. So I definitely would recommend checking that out if you have questions about shipping or really anything regarding the club items. If you have questions though and they're not answered there, you could always ask customer service, or I don't know, maybe I could help you if you ask me in the comments, but I don't work for Spellbinders, so we'll leave it to the experts, we'll say. I really loved the sentiment on this card, "To my darling friend," because I think that this sentiment could be used in different occasions, and it's just so sweet. You could use this as a birthday sentiment, "To my darling friend," or you could use this as a thinking of you or a sympathy card, just really anything to your friend. Now, I left this part in the video because I'm going to show you how to turn around a mistake. So I wanted to mount my little sentiment here on this gold mirrored cardstock. Sounds great. Yes, woohoo. But I went wrong with my trimmer, and I was trimming and trimming here, and I made one side a bit too short. And then not only was it short, it was crooked, and I was not feeling it. Tried saving it. I don't know. I love this little mini trimmer. It's from Tim Holtz, I think. But I ended up just taking my scissors and cutting the gold off. But I did not abandon the gold mirrored cardstock because we cannot do that. So I ended up putting more liquid glue on and putting it on the other piece that I had there. Actually, not liquid glue. And I just wanted to see if that would work. And it did. And it was straight. So I don't know how that happened, but it did. So there you go. I thought it looked a little plain with just that. And like I said, my challenge was to make cards and to make them cards that I like. So I did not want to make a plain card. So I added another piece of pattern paper to the bottom, and with the gold foiling, you just can't go wrong. So I added that and my sentiment. Then I noticed my pieces were lifting on the corners, so I added a little liquid glue to help finish off the edges. I, of course, had to add some sparkles because I think that having sparkles or really shapes going in diagonal formation is kind of nice, and it helps your eye go from left to right. So it's kind of a fun trick from, I think I learned that in middle school or high school art, or maybe even college, I don't know. But having your eye go from left to right or top to bottom or diagonally is kind of a fun way to make the viewer of whatever they're looking at kind of interact with it and have movement. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I'm not explaining that all the way, but yeah. All right, with this card I thought, I'll stamp a sentiment, but then I thought, well, that's just like my other card. And I have these adorable bikes, and I had not used them, and I thought, well, I cannot just leave these in the box. Oh no, I have to use them. So I pulled out some foam tape, and I made a kind of open-ended card with these little bikes. So I put one on the outside with this foam dimensional tape, and the other I glued inside the card. So this was a very simple card, but it still has like the elegance that I was looking for. Now, this is another card using these word panels. I don't know. I feel like they're not just die cut shapes because it's so big and it's a rectangle, and to me it's just kind of like a statement. So maybe I'll call it a statement die cut piece. But it's so beautiful to put that on the gold mirrored cardstock and some pattern paper and these little butterflies, and just make a quick card that has a big wow factor to it. So I have one butterfly on the left that is the die cut shape, and this one that's in my hand right now is the sticker, and then the top part is also part of the sticker. And I made two of those because I had the materials to make two of them. So here's a look at all of the cards that I made with this card kit from this video. So if you've liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos in the future. I will have a couple more videos showing even more cards from this Butterfly Sparkles card kit of the month. So stay tuned, stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.